Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Hare Krishna, thank you very much for giving this chance and opportunity to serve Guru and Gauranga. I'm sorry for the delay, but you tolerated it. Thank you very much. Today we'll be reading from Sri Caitanya Caritamrta Adi Leela, Chapter 5, The Glories of Lord Nityananda. Now, it's very difficult for those who are not given proper instruction in Parampara to understand who is Lord Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who are the latest incarnations of Lord Sri Krishna and Lord Balaram, again extension of Lord Krishna only. So this fifth chapter, The Glory of Lord Nityananda Balaram, is chiefly devoted to describing the essential nature and glories of Sri Nityananda Prabhu. Lord Sri Krishna is the absolute personality of Godhead, and his first expansion in a four pastimes is Sri Balaram. Beyond the limitation of this material world is the spiritual sky, Paravyom, which has many spiritual planets, the supreme of which is called Krishna Lok. Krishna Lok, the abode of Krishna, has three divisions, which are known as Dwarka, Mathura and Gokul. In that abode of personality of Godhead expands himself in four plenary portions, Krishna, Balaram, Pradyumna, the transcendental Cupid, and Aniruddha. They are known as the original quadruple forms. In Krishna Lok is a transcendental place known as Shvetadvip or Vrindavan. Below Krishna Lok is the spiritual sky, are Vaikuntha planets. On each Vaikuntha planet, a four-headed Narayan expanded from the first quadruple manifestation is present. The personality of Godhead known as Sri Balaram in Krishna Lok is the original Sankarshan, attracting deity, and from this Sankarshan expands another Sankarshan called Mahasankarshan, who resides in one of the Vaikuntha planets. By his internal potency, Mahasankarshan maintains the transcendental existence of all the planets in the spiritual sky, where all the living beings are eternally liberated souls. The influence of the material energy is conspicuous there by its absence. On those planets, the second quadruple manifestation is present. Outside the Vaikuntha Lok is the impersonal manifestation of Sri Krishna, which is known as Brahmalok. On the other side of Brahmalok is the spiritual Karana Samudra or causal ocean. The material energy exists on the other end of the causal ocean without touching it. In the causal ocean is Mahavishnu, the original Purush expansion for Sankarshan. Mahavishnu places his glance over the material energy, and by a reflection of his transcendental body, he amalgamates himself within the material elements. As the source of material elements, the material energy is known as Pradhan, and as the source of manifestation of the material energy, it is known as Maya. But material energy is inert in that she has no independent power to do anything. She is empowered to make the cosmic manifestation by the glance of Mahavishnu. Therefore, the material energy is not the original cause of the material manifestation. Rather, the transcendental glance of Mahavishnu over material nature produces that cosmic manifestation. Mahavishnu again enters every universe as the reservoir of all living entities. Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, from Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, expands Krishna, Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, the super soul of every living entity. Garbhodakshaya Vishnu also has his own Vaikuntha planet in every universe, where he lives as a super soul or supreme controller of the universe. Garbhodakshaya Vishnu reclines in the midst of the watery portion of the universe and generates the first living creature of the universe, Brahma. The imaginary universal form is a partial manifestation of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. On the Vaikuntha planet, in every universe, is an ocean of milk, and within that ocean is an island called Shvetvi, where Lord Vishnu lives. Therefore, this chapter describes two Shvetvis, one in the abode of Krishna and other in the ocean of milk in every universe. The Shvetvi in the abode of Krishna Lok is identical with Vrindavan Dham, which is the place where Krishna appears himself to display his loving pastimes. In the Shvetvi, within every universe is Shesh form of Godhead, who serves Vishnu by assuming the form of his umbrella, slippers, couch, pillows, garments, residence, sacred thread, throne, and so on. Lord Baldev in Krishna Lokesh Nityanand Prabhu. Therefore, Nityanand Prabhu is the original Sankarshan, and Mahasankarshan and his expansion as the Purushas in the universe are plenary expansions of Nityanand Prabhu. In this chapter, the author describes the history of his leaving home for a personal pilgrimage to Vrindavan and his achieving all success there. In this description, it is revealed that the author's original paternal home and birthplace were in the district of Katwa, in the village of Jhamatapur, which is near Naihati. Krishnadas Kaviraj's brother invited Sri Meena Ketan Ramadas, a great devotee of Lord Nityanand, to his home, but a priest called Gunarno Mishra did not receive him well, and Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami's brother, not recognizing the glories of Lord Nityanand, also took the sides with the priest. Therefore, Ramdas became sorry, broke his flute, and went away. This was a great disaster for the brother of Krishnadas, Kaviraj Goswami. But on that very night, Lord Nityanand Prabhu himself graced Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami in a dream and ordered him to leave on the next day for Vrindavan. So, the first verse is Vande Nanta Adbhut Ashwaryam Sri Nityanandam Ishwaram Veshecha Tat Swarupam Agyenapi Nirupyate. Vande Nanta Adbhut Ashwaryam Sri Nityananda Ishwaram Yasyecha Tat Swarupam Agyenapi Nirupyate. Vande, let me offer my obeisances, Anand, unlimited, Adbhut, and wonderful, Ashwaryam, whose appearance, Sri Nityanandam, unto Lord Nityanand, Ishwara, the personality of Godhead, Yasya, whose Ichaya, by with the will, Tat Swarupam, his identity, again, by the ignorant, Api, even, Nirupyate, can be ascertained. Translation, let me offer my obeisances to Lord Nityanand, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose opulence is wonderful and unlimited. By his will, even a fool can understand his identity. And the second verse of Chaitanya Caritamrta Adi is 5th chapter. Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya, Jai Nityananda, Jai Advaita Chandra, Jai Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya, Jai Nityananda, Jai Advaita Chandra, Jai Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Jai, all glories, Sri Chaitanya to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Jai Nityanand, all glories to Lord Nityanand, Jai Advaita Chandra, all glories to Advaita Acharya, Jai Gaur Bhaktavinda, all glories to the devotees of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All glories to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all glories to Sri Nityanand, all glories to Advaita Acharya, and all glories to all the devotees of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, in this pastime, actually, what I read was a total summary of this chapter. So, the verses, they are very small verses. So, what we saw in this one point, one past crime that came was this Krishnadas Kaviraj's brother invited Sri Meenaketan Ramadas, a great devotee of Lord Nityananda, to his home. Now, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is a very exalted figure, and so is brother, because if you are inviting devotees at your home, so obviously you have that bias credit. So there, this person, Gunardav Mishra, the priest who was worshipping the deity installed in the house, did not receive Sri Meenaketan Ramadas very well. Basically, now we'll wonder how he did not receive well. So, when a devotee comes to your house, whatever position you are in or I am in, even if I am sitting in Vyasasana thinking I am the highest at that point, but that's a glory given to me by Lord Krishna. So, proper etiquette says that I must get up immediately from the Vyasasana, offer obeisances, and then proceed. So, this Gunardav Mishra did not do that. He remained seated where he was in the house only, and his behavior slightly condescending, slightly insulting. And this Krishnadas Goswami's, Kaviraj Goswami's brother was also not recognizing the glories of Lord Nityananda. So also he took the sides with the priest. So basically, Lord Nityananda had come along with this devotee, Sri Meenaketan Ramadas. So seeing this, when you are taking some exalted figure along with you to somebody's house where you are invited, and that person is not received well, so it is very hurting. So this devotee Ramdas became very sorry, and he was a very good flute player, but he became so upset that he broke his flute and went away. Now, the behavior of Gunardav Mishra indicated that he had no great respect for Lord Nityananda. And this idea was not at all palatable to Meenaketan Ramdas. And for this reason, the mentality of Meenaketan Ramdas is never deprecated by devotees. Now, one generally feels that, okay, you are a great devotee and you went to a devotee's place where you are invited and you broke your flute and went away. So it's like, isn't it a bad manners where the person's bad, why you should stoop low? But here he was following higher principle. So when he realized that where there is no respect for Lord Nityananda, that place is not worth living or worth even being there. So he left. And for exactly this mentality, Meenaketan Ramadas has never deprecated or felt bad about any of the devotees. Now, a similar event occurred when Romharshan Sut was speaking to the great assembly of sages at Naimisharanya. Lord Baldev entered that great assembly, but since Romharshan Sut was on the Vyasasana, he did not get down to offer respect to Lord Baldev. So the pastime goes like once Lord Balram was visiting the sages at the forest of Naimisharanya, he was offered respect by everyone except Romharshan Sut, who was sitting on the Vyasasana, and by not getting up. So Lord Balram became angry, and his mission was to annihilate hypocrites. So Romharshan was not humble, not self-controlled, and just pretending to be a great sage, and therefore needed to be terminated. So Lord Balram killed him with a single blade of kusha grass. This incident shows the fate of all bogus gurus and false spiritual leaders. Because of the misbehavior of Romharshan being disrespectful, Lord Balram killed him with a blade of kush grass at Naimisharanya and appointed his son, Ugrashram Sut Goswami, the speaker of Srimad Bhagavatam, to continue the discourses on the Puranas. In Srila Prabhupada's Krishna book, chapter 77, we find the story of Romharshan Sut. This man was a learned transcendentalist and direct disciple of Sri Vyasadeva, but he was not a pure devotee. So Srila Prabhupada explains his transcendental realization was not perfect. Just prior to the advent of the age of Kali, many great sages and saintly persons gathered at the holy place of Naimisharanya to perform a great sacrifice via the recitation of the pastimes of Supreme Lord and his pure devotees. Such narrations are found in Puranas such as Srimad Bhagavatam and Mahabharata, and in other authorized scriptures. In Vedic culture, advanced devotees well versed in the scriptures would often lead aloud discourses and discussions of these important topics. Unlike the modern day Bhagavad Saptas performed by professional speakers to impress laymen for sake of their own financial gain, these meetings were attended almost exclusively by ascetics and yogis or serious transcendentalists eager to develop full personal consciousness. So Rom Harshan Sud had studied all the Vedas and Purans under the personal guidance of Sri Vyasadeva, the literary incarnation of God. Therefore, he had been elected to seat on the Vyasasana at the Great Assembly of Transcendentalists. Even though he had not been born in a lineage of pure Brahmins, we find many examples mentioned in Srila Prabhupada's books where a person not born in a family of Brahmins had achieved the position of Brahmin or Acharya by virtue of training, staunch sadhana, and realization of Krishna consciousness. Sri Haridas Thakur, for instance, who was born in a Muslim family, was recognized as the best devotee and given the title of Namacharya by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. Sri Haridas Thakur, however, was the emblem of humility and never considered himself a great devotee or teacher of Vaishnavas. Romharshan Sud was not a devotee at the level of Haridas Thakur. In spite of his learning and exalted status, he had failed to perfectly realize his constitutional position as a tiny part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Rather, he imagined himself to be greatest sadhu. He dared to sit on the Vyasasana even in the presence of many learned devotees who hailed from dynasties of pure and exalted Brahmins or Brahmarishis. Moreover, when everyone else stood up and offered obeisances to welcome Lord Balaram, Romharshan Sud remained seated. Srila Prabhupada mentions that he should have followed the example of all other learned sages present by standing to receive Lord Balaram. Srila Prabhupada's Nectar of Devotion states that everyone should stand up to greet deities, no one should remain seated. So Srila Prabhupada writes, when Lord Balaram saw that Romharshan Sud did not understand the highest principle of religiousness, in spite of having studied all the Vedas, he certainly could not support his position. Romharshan had been given the chance to become perfect Brahman, but because of his ill behavior in his relationship with the Supreme Person Godhead, his low birth was immediately remembered. So now comes the question, what is the highest principle of religiousness? If a Brahmin does not know the answer to this question and has not realized the import of all the Vedas, then he should not think of himself as guru or exalted leader among Vaishnavas and saintly persons. If he does so, he may make the mistake of Romharshan and think himself as exalted as Lord Balaram or his empowered representative. Srila Prabhupada mentions elsewhere in this connection, one should not imitate the behavior of an advanced devotee or Mahabhagavat without being self-realized. For such behavior, one will eventually become degraded. Both Lord Krishna and Lord Balaram killed many obnoxious, sinful persons in the course of their transcendental pastimes. All these persons were guilty of killing, abusing, and or raping many innocent people, including Brahmins, cows, women, and children. None of these sinfully violent and destructive demons were Brahmins or sadhus or disciples of great devotees like Sri Vyasadeva. Yet Lord Balaram considered Romharshan Sud, a direct disciple of Vyasadeva, to be equally dangerous and destructive, like the other grossly sinful demons he had killed. We may wonder why the personality of Godhead, Lord Balaram, would severely punish a sadhu seated as a guru, even a voted in, low-born guru like Romharshan Sud, when in fact he had spared even befriended men like Duryodhan. Krishna had even spared the Kaliya serpent who had poisoned the waters of Yamuna and caused death in Vrindavan among Krishna's intimate devotees. So why did Lord Balaram kill Romharshan Sud, who was seated as Guru and blessed by the great sages at Naimisharanya with long life? Srila Prabhupada explains, because Romharshan's transcendental realization was not perfect, Lord Balaram remembered his Pratilo or mixed caste heritage. The idea is that any man can be given the chance to become Brahman, but if he improperly uses the position of a Brahman without actual realization, then his elevation to the Brahmanical position is not valid. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Any question, any comments?
How this Ramaharsana Sutta, although he was not completely realized person, how he was invited to speak there in Naimisarana?
As we discussed that he was direct disciple of Sri Vyasa himself, who's literal incarnation of Krishna himself. And his behavior or his overall attitude and along with his qualifications made sage realize that he is a very advanced devotee, and that's why he was given the position of chief speaker out there. But generally it is said that you can't hide a bad player in a good team. So his low nature was actually exposed. And that's why Lord Balram, that's why it's mentioned that Lord Balram himself had actually let go of many sinners, including Duryodhana, who was the main cause of Mahabharata. But even that was excusable because they were following their nature. And here, this person had acquired all the knowledge. That's why they say that if a devotee or a person is born in Bharatvarsh and if he makes mistakes, he is severely punished. Whereas a person who is not born in Bharatvarsh makes even bigger mistakes or graver mistakes will be let go. So, following the same tradition, Lord Balaram realized that despite his education and all the qualification given to him, he still remains a low caste person. So that's why he had to be immediately eliminated. And he was not discriminatory because then he installed his son only in that position in which he had punished the father. So he has given his mercy. So this chapter is basically talking about Lord Nityananda, who's incarnation of Lord Balaram, and without which devotional life is not possible. So here we are looking at the highest principles of devotional service. So that's why he had to go.
Okay, good.
So he had crime and he got the fitting of punishment. And this is something which is very difficult for ordinary people like me to understand that how come that for some similar thing you are getting different treatments. So that's the beauty of this pastime.
Yeah, thank you.
It seems you are about to ask something.
Huh?
It seems like you are about to ask something.
Yeah, but I'm waiting the other.
Yes,
You can ask. You can.
You.
No.
So, but we are sometimes bewildered about this is not exactly from the words, but we are sometimes bewildered by the nature of Avadhuta, Nityananda.
Yeah.
And sometimes we think that, oh, this was a crazy man that why he didn't behave properly. It would have been easier to accept him.
Well, as I have come across many places, like when a child is born and when a child is still growing up, there are various stages in development. But to a child, parents are the first teachers or the first God the child knows. And he finds them the most intelligent, most beautiful, like full of all six opulences. And in that sense, it is true also because unless parents take good care of a newborn child, the child will not even exist. Until the child becomes self-sufficient, parents, under all normal circumstances, try to strengthen the child and educate in all the manners possible, so that child grows up to become a fine person or fine devotee. So likewise, if you ask that child, "Oh, your father behaved in such a manner, your mother was collaring the neighbors. What do you think?" Child will not think like that, and that is basically reciprocation of true love. I would say at that stage, within those possible parameters and within that knowledge and intelligence developed till that stage for the child. So likewise, when we are and we are definitely having more knowledge than a normal child. So when we are seeing that Romharshan, despite giving all the knowledge, behaved that manner, so that's why he got punishment. So same way, when we are already told that Lord Nityananda is expansion of Lord Balaram, who is himself an expansion of Lord Krishna himself. And if you realize that even Krishna, when he comes as one of the Dashavatars, in every avatar he is has some particular role to play and he has smaller pastimes. But in Lord Ram's pastime, he has given the role of a Maryada Purushottam, who is following all the standards. And during that course also, he made many promises to even including the sages and the great forests that okay, and even the monkeys and bears who were actually helping him in that pastime that okay, I'm playing one particular role. In next life, I'll be repaying your all the favors you have done to me. And then he is following everything and all these standards and all these definitions of etiquettes, morality is applicable to everybody else. But at the end of the day, everything rests on Krishna only, who's like the thread which is threading all the pearls and is a beautiful garden. So Krishna is the standard himself. So Lord Balaram is also manifestation like that. And in fact, it is said that he would be always beautifully dressed as Lord Nityanand in blue dress, and he'll be having many dresses. And sometimes he'll just go. And there's one pastime where he was in Aditacharya's close place, and he just dropped all the dress and he was started dancing like that. And everybody else was ordinary person was bewildered, but Aditacharya Prabhu's wife realized that okay, he's my child only, and she took care of him. So that is the actually consciousness of a devotee. It's very easy for us to praise the Lord and praise God and praise Krishna when everything is going fine with us. But when Krishna is behaving in different manner, or differently are behaving in different manner, basically they are testing what is the advancement of our knowledge. When we are sitting at our home, being taught by parents in loving manner or by teachers in a very comfortable manner during the entire year, we feel very happy, very comfortable, we are playing, we are joking, we are making mischief. But when the examination comes, that indicates what is the knowledge we have acquired. So are we going to fail like Romaharshan, or we are going to actually be the devotee which Krishna has expected us to be or taught us to be? That is the examination. So that's the reason teacher can be anything, but like Lord Ram in some one place said that when Lord Bharat says, why did you kill Kaikeyi? She is bad mother, she has killed our father and she has asked you to go in a very unjust manner. So he just says that there can be a bad son, but there cannot be a bad mother. Like Putra can be Kuputra, but there cannot be Kumata. So same way, God is always God. So we cannot find fault. It's something like the splitting on the moon. Moon will not be affected, the split will come on us only. So that's our test. So whether we succeed or fail, that's our consciousness. And of course, my cousin used to say that some people are like that, that even if you give your heart, cut heart in a simple silver platter, they'll still say, oh, the plate is not clean. They'll not look at what efforts you have put in. So Krishna is giving us everything. And if we are still looking at, oh, the plate is dirty, so that's our fault, not Krishna's fault. That's my understanding.
Good, thanks.
It's true, no question.
I'm just listening. I must listen and learn.
No, but it's quite possible. I may be just saying something, made my conclusions.
No. You are saying so nice things.
That's not an indicator of intelligence or devotion.
Ah,
Anybody can speak nicely. All the politicians speak nicely.
yes. But I have you seen your behavior also.
Now you're flattering, Prabhu. I think it's time for me to leave. Any comments on the question?
No.
Any question, Manoj? I think she's busy. Yes, Prabhu?
Yeah, of course, there are many questions about this incident in this house, Krishna's Karitamrta's brother. For example, this priest, this Gunarnava Misra, externally he followed the etiquette anyway. But was it so that in his mind he was offensive or something? Because I have read from Caitanya Caritamrta that externally he behaved properly. He didn't externally show any like any offensive mentality or any criticism against this person, this Meena Caitanya. But was it then that in his mind he was offensive? Or
Yes, in fact, if we go in scriptures, we find that many incidents are quite repetitive, only if we identify. And many things which has happened in one pastime will appear in next pastime. Like we have seen in Caitanya Caritamrta also that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Nityanand, they enacted many pastimes which were reminiscent of the pastimes of Lord Krishna and Balaram in the previous life, and also of Lord Ram and his associates. So these two things do go in circle. Like they say, that concept of Bharat or time or samaya is cyclical in nature. Like kal, aaj or kal. Kal is yesterday, aaj is present, and kal is tomorrow. But if you look at it, it becomes a circle. So same way, if you realize that Lord Nityanand's behavior, but here this devotee Meena was actually behaving the same way Lord Balram had behaved in Romashan case. But he was, he knows his position, but he is a good devotee. And he realized that he is not an authority. And within his heart, he realized that if this person, knowing, suppose if he is taking care of the deity or presiding deity of this house, and still is behaving like this guest, so obviously I cannot tolerate it. He's not thinking anything about him, but he got very upset and he took out his frustration on his own flute, which he loved to play beautifully to in the service of Krishna. So he took his own frustration and he just walked away. He did not chastise or try to chastise anything, because many times you realize that you are not in a position, or I am not in a position to comment. Maybe I am not qualified, or maybe my position is humble. I cannot actually afford to. Seriously, I believe that I don't actually have that qualification to chastise others. But I can always leave. That's why it is said that if you are in a place where you find that devotees are being blasphemed, first duty is to actually immediately retaliate, and you should not get angry for yourself. But if a devotee is being blasphemed, or deity is being blasphemed, or God is being blasphemed, you should immediately retaliate. But if that is not happening, then you should leave. It's no point just being there silent, because if you are silently being there, that means you are supporting the same cause. So likewise, he just realized that I cannot, I'm not qualified to chastise him, but at the same time, I don't want to commit further offenses, and I just walk away. He just walked away from the place. And obviously, this person was behaving like Romashan only. So that's basically the test of Maya, that I may have all the facilities, but Maya is always testing that has he become the 24 karat gold which Krishna wants him to be. And the very fact that everybody else noticed that this devotee has left, so something wrong has happened. So the message was clear to everybody else. Whether this person takes up his lesson or not, that's his choice. Like in Ramashan's case, Lord Balaram realized that he has all the qualification and his crime is such that he has to be eliminated. But in this devotee's case, devotee just left by breaking his flute. So people remember, okay, he broke his flute, that means something very serious has happened. And he has not said anything, because when you get angry and you start to curse others, basically some reaction will come to us also. The best thing is to just leave that place without polluting our own consciousness. That's what he did. Does that answer?
yeah. So I myself, I consider Nityananda Tridat to be the most important festival in the year, because there is so much mercy given in that festival.
Yeah, that's right. Because Krishna says that in Bhagavad Gita also, he says, "O Arjun, you declare that my devotee will never perish, because I may break my own promises, but if my devotee promises, then I adhere to that." Likewise, Nityanand Prabhu is the first expansion of Lord Krishna himself. So if Krishna may break his promise to us or his words to us or our feelings, but if Lord Nityanand is benevolent, then Krishna is also going to favor to us. And that's the reason we first offer our prayers to Lord Nityanand, then to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's why God always says that my devotee should take care of us. That's what parampara is all about. That's why right conscious for devotee would be to be the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant of the God. Yes. Prabhu, I think you were traveling and doing Sankirtan, and I was expecting you to have many questions.
Yes.
Any question in common? Harish.
So thank you very much.
Thank you.